faces glowing, icicles growing, hearts overflowing with cheer. It's that wonderful season we all find so pleasing, the Toys R Us time of year.
What is up, my fellow nostalgia nuts, and welcome to Retro Vault, your home for deep dives into the toys, tech, and trends that shaped our childhoods. I'm Aaron, and today we're unwrapping a holiday special, the top 5 toys from the 80's, 90's, and early 2000's. These toys dominated wish lists, sparked shopping frenzies, and gave Santa a serious workout. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit subscribe and smash that notification bell so you never miss another trip into the Retro Vault. Seriously, it's scientifically proven to be better than unwrapping socks on Christmas morning. So, grab your time machines, finish up those lists to Santa, and let's head back to the decades where kids were rocking side ponytails, parents were fighting over dolls, and Christmas trees were probably covered in tinsel and other fire hazards. The 80's were all about bold colors, big hair, and some of the most iconic toys in history. Let's count down the top 5 Christmas toys of the decade. First up, Cabbage Patch Kids. These weren't just dolls, they were the dolls to have. Their unique adoption certificate and handmade look drove parents into shopping frenzies. In 1983, they became the it gift, sparking fights in stores and even making national headlines. Forget the movie Jingle All the Way. The real action stars were moms throwing elbows at Sears for these things. And let's be honest, the dolls weren't exactly cute by today's standards. They looked like they were stuck in a permanent sneeze. But hey, we loved them. And if you didn't have one, you were stuck adopting your sister's Barbies. And those Barbies didn't come with birth certificates. Next up, we've got the Rubik's Cube. Who knew a simple puzzle toy could captivate the world? Invented in 1974, but booming in the 80's, it challenged kids and adults alike to solve its colorful sides. It was the perfect stocking stuffer and brain teaser that kept you busy all winter break. Well, busy if you didn't peel off the stickers to cheat. Don't lie, we've all done it. Even today, the Rubik's Cube is iconic. They've got speed-solving competitions now. But in the 80's, solving one side was basically winning a Nobel Prize. And let's not forget the frustration. If you didn't throw one of these across the room at least once, did you even own a Rubik's Cube? Transformers, more than meets the eye. Yeah, you know the slogan. Transformers burst onto the scene in 1984, combining robots and vehicles in a way that no one had seen before. These toys were instant hits, spawning cartoons, movies, and a massive holiday demand. Every kid wanted Optimus Prime, but most of us ended up with that random construction truck that no one really remembers. And transforming them? Oh boy, one wrong twist, and suddenly your robot looked like it went through the car crusher. But hey, that's what imagination was for. Plus, the Transformers universe kept growing, so by next Christmas, you were begging for whatever shiny new thing they came out with. Who could forget My Little Pony? Even your boy has a 1984 Caramel Crunch Pony. These colorful, sparkly ponies brought magic and imagination into every kid's playtime. They came with brushable manes, unique cutie marks, and endless adventures in Ponyland. And by adventures, I mean your siblings smashing them together like they were in a WWE match. My Little Pony also had some wild accessories. They had carriages, castles, and even seashell-shaped bathtubs. Say that 5 times fast. Because apparently, ponies in the 80's were living better than most of us today. But hey, they taught us one important lesson. Ponies are magic, especially when they come in pastel. And finally, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Released in 1985, it didn't just change Christmas, it changed the world. With games like Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt, the NES became the must-have console of the decade. Nintendo started pumping out games for the console like it was nobody's business. The library has even become a thing of infamy with how many unsavory titles were released, spearheaded by the god among men, the prince of pocket pens, the angry video game nerd. But owning a NES wasn't just about playing games, it was a whole lifestyle. Remember blowing into the cartridges like it was some kind of ancient ritual to appease the gaming gods? And who could forget the Nintendo finger blisters from mashing button A way too hard? The NES didn't just give us games, it gave us community. Kids would huddle around tiny TVs, arguing over whose turn it was to rescue the princess or try to conquer Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And let's not forget the controller itself. Simple, iconic, and practically indestructible. It survived rage quits, accidental drops, and even younger siblings who used it as a teething toy. Truly, the NES was built different. And there you have it, 5 unforgettable toys that define the 80s. Whether you were building empires with Legos, dominating the block with Transformers, or clinging to your Cabbage Patch Kid for dear life, the 80s were a golden age of imagination and fun. But now, let's swap our leg warmers for a grunge flannel and fire up the dial-up internet, because we're headed straight into the 90s. Spoiler alert, it's about to get extreme, dude! The 90s. The era of neon windbreakers, boy bands, and some seriously awesome toys. Here are the top 5 that define Christmas wish lists in an unforgettable decade. Let's start with the Super Soaker, the water gun that made kids everywhere feel like action movie stars. Invented by a NASA engineer, yes, that NASA, it wasn't your ordinary squirt gun. It had power, range, and the ability to turn backyard play into an aquatic battlefield. Remember the kid who always got the biggest model with the backpack water tank? That kid wasn't playing games, he was playing war. Meanwhile, if you had the tiny dollar store knockoff, your only defense was surrendering immediately. Super Soakers taught us 2 things. Hydration is key, and all is fair in love and war. Beanie Babies were the collectible craze of the 90s. These plush toys weren't just for kids, they were for investors. Yeah, grown adults were stockpiling them like they were going to fund their retirement. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Everyone had that one relative who swore their Princess Diana bear was going to pay for college. Meanwhile, kids just liked them because they were cute and squishy. But let's be real, some of us were too scared to play with them because it might lose its value. Nothing says childhood fun like being told, "Don't touch the tie tag." Next, we have the Tamagotchi, the virtual pet that taught kids responsibility and also guilt. If you forgot to feed it, it died. And let's not even talk about the mess it made if you didn't clean up after it. These little egg-shaped devices turned every kid into a tiny parent. But what made Tamagotchi so iconic was their urgency. You could be in the middle of class and then suddenly, beep, beep, your pet needed attention. Teachers hated them, parents didn't understand them, and kids were obsessed. Basically, they were the original smartphones, but instead of apps, you had pixelated poop to clean up. Go, go, Power Rangers! Yeah, these action figures were as much a part of the 90s as grunge music and Dunkaroos. Every kid had a favorite Ranger. Heaven help you if you got stuck with the one no one liked. We're looking at you, Yellow Ranger. The best part? They had action moves. With the press of a button, they could kick, punch, or do whatever it was that Power Rangers did when they weren't fighting buddies. And if you didn't have the Megazord to combine them all, well, congratulations. You were just an average citizen of Angel Grove. Okay, like on the real though, who decided to design these guys and name them the Super Putty Patrollers? The Game Boy Color was the must-have gadget of the late 90s. It was portable gaming at its finest, with color graphics that blew the original Game Boy out of the water. Playing Pokemon Red or Blue in color? Absolute chef's kiss. And let's not forget the link cable, which turned trading Pokemon into the ultimate schoolyard flex. If you had a shiny Charizard, you were basically royalty. But good luck explaining that to your parents, why you needed batteries for Christmas. That thing burned through AA batteries like your cousin burns through holiday pie. And that's the 90s. Big hits, big fads, and the occasional big letdown when your batteries ran out. Now, let's skip on ahead to the early 2000s, where technology really started taking over our toy boxes. Now, admittedly, the early 2000s were kind of a weird time. We survived Y2K, we got hooked on reality TV, and toys were starting to look like something out of the Jetsons. Let's dive into the top 5 toys from this era of peak nostalgia. First up, the Razor Scooter. Every kid in the early 2000s wanted one of these sleek, foldable scooters. They were portable, they were fast, and they were dangerous. Seriously, raise your hand if you smacked your ankle with the metal base. Yeah, we all did. But once you mastered it, you felt like Tony Hawk on 2 wheels, until you hit a crack in the sidewalk and went flying. Razor scooters were also the accessory for showing off. If you had the neon wheels or custom grips, you were living the dream. Bonus points if you could actually land a trick and not just eat pavement. Up next is Bratz dolls. Bratz dolls were Barbie's edgier, sassier cousins. They had bold makeup, trendy clothes, and a level of attitude that screamed, "I know what I'm worth!" They weren't just dolls, they were divas. Each doll came with so many accessories, it was like a tiny fashion show in your living room. But let's be real, those shoes were impossible to keep track of. Your mom didn't vacuum up a Bratz heel at least once? Did you even own one? And their giant heads? Iconic. They made Barbie look like she'd missed head day at the gym. Let it rip! Beyblades turned spinning tops into a full contact sport. These customizable battle tops came with their own arenas, where kids would duke it out for the ultimate prize. Bragging rights. And let's not forget the drama. If your Beyblade flew out of the ring, it was basically the playground equivalent of a mic drop. But assembling them was an art form. If you didn't have the perfect weight balance, you were toast. Pro tip, never battle someone with a metal Beyblade, unless you want yours to explode into plastic shrapnel. Harry Potter fever hit in the early 2000s hard, and Lego Harry Potter was the ultimate crossover. These sets let kids build Hogwarts, Hagrid's hut, and even the Quidditch pitch. It was like magic at your fingertips, until you stepped on a Lego piece barefoot. Then it was pure sorcery. The best part? The tiny minifigures of Harry, Hermione, and Ron. And let's not forget the imagination. Sure, the instructions said castle, but you could turn it into a spaceship if you really wanted. That's the beauty of Lego. Building memories and losing tiny wands in the carpet forever. The iPod Mini wasn't just a toy. It was a status symbol. If you had one, you were basically the king or queen of cool. With its sleek design and rainbow of colors, it let you carry 1,000 songs in your pocket. That was huge! Unless your pocket also had some loose change, which would scratch the heck out of it. And let's not forget the earbuds. The white cords were iconic. If you had them dangling out of your hoodie, people just knew that you were jamming to the latest Green Day or Britney Spears hit. The iPod Mini wasn't just a device, it was a vibe. And that's our list. From the water-blasting Super Soaker to the ankle-busting Razor Scooter. These toys weren't just fun, they were unforgettable. Whether you grew up in the 80s, 90s, or early 2000s, you know these toys brought the holiday magic every year. Thanks for joining me on this nostalgic trip through Christmas mornings past. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you never miss another trip into the Retro Vault. Let us know if you want us to further cover any of the toys or tech you saw on today's list. Until then, keep the memories alive, and maybe dust off that Game Boy for old time's sake. I'm Aaron, and we will check you next time. Vices!